Movies and entertainment. Which 2019 mystery film stars Chris Evans as a villain who attempts to stab Ana de Armas's character? Knives Out. Which 2023 kaiju movie features minus in its official title? Godzilla -1. Which ABC sitcom was inspired by an insurance company's commercials featuring the slogan, "So easy a caveman can do it"? Caveman. Which 1944 psychological thriller stars Ingrid Bergman as Paula Alquist, a woman whose husband tries to manipulate her into believing she is going insane? Gaslight. Who co-wrote the screenplay for the 1976 film A Star is Born and authored the memoir The Year of Magical Thinking? Joan Didion. On which comedy sitcom did Tony Hale play Buster Bluth, a character who performs an awkward dance at his father's funeral? Arrested Development. Who is the titular entertainment mogul whose name precedes the titles Assisted Living, The Marriage Counselor, and A Medea Homecoming? Tyler Perry. Which 1994 Disney animated film features a young lion prince named Simba? The Lion King. Who played the character Jack Dawson in the 1997 blockbuster movie Titanic? Leonardo DiCaprio. What long-running animated sitcom is set in the fictional town of Springfield? The Simpsons. Music and radio. Which song features the Elton John lyric stating that the power of love makes kings and vagabonds believe the very best? Can You Feel the Love Tonight? A handwritten draft of the lyrics to which Bob Dylan's song sold at an auction for $2 million? Like a Rolling Stone. Which singer, who died in a 1963 plane crash, was the first solo female artist elected to the Country Music Hall of Fame? Patsy Cline. What is the name of the popular podcast hosted by Alex Cooper that was acquired by SiriusXM in a $125 million deal? Call Her Daddy. Who is the only woman currently anchoring a nightly network evening news broadcast on one of the big three U.S. networks? Norah O'Donnell. What is the stage name of Timothy Mosley, the hit hip-hop producer inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame class of 2024? Timbaland. Which American pop star released the hit albums 1989 and Midnights? Taylor Swift. Which iconic rock band was fronted by singer Freddie Mercury? Queen. Which English rock band released the dark, psychological concept album The Wall in 1979? Pink Floyd. What legendary rock icon was known as the King of Rock and Roll? Elvis Presley. Myth and religion. According to the biblical Beatitudes, who is blessed because theirs is the kingdom of heaven? The poor in spirit. In Norse mythology, which watchman of the gods has eyesight that spans 100 leagues and the ability to hear grass grow? Heimdall. What is the name of the burning rainbow bridge that connects Midgard to Asgard in Norse mythology? Bifrost. Originally referencing the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, what two-word phrase now describes any principle or statement believed unreservedly? Gospel truth. Which mythical creature, whose name translates from Spanish as goat sucker, is famously rumored to attack livestock? Chupacabra. In medieval romance and opera, which Irish princess accidentally shares a love potion with a knight named Tristan? Isolde. Who is the king of the gods in ancient Greek mythology? Zeus. What is the sacred text of Islam? The Quran. In Greek myth, who flew too close to the sun causing his wax wings to melt? Icarus. Who is the Hindu god known as the remover of obstacles, depicted with an elephant head? Ganesha. Language and word games. Which plural word can describe 4 specific cards in a standard playing deck or mean that something is excellent? Aces. What is the name of a bike steering mechanism, which also describes a style of mustache with curved ends? Handlebars. Which 6-letter word means hidden, supernatural, or relating to mystical practices? Occult. Which 6-letter word means constantly seeking emotional closeness while also describing something shabbily dirty? Clingy. What word sounds identical to minimum, but actually means any very small or negligible amount? Minima. Which word beginning with a prefix meaning distant is used in the standard NFL broadcast disclaimer regarding the private use of their audience? Telecast. Which synonym for wearisome begins with a word that means to weary? Irksome. What empty surface is the literal English translation of the Latin phrase tabula rasa? Blank slate. What word describes a word that is spelled the same backwards as forwards, such as race car? Palindrome. What term describes a word formed from the initial letters of other words, such as NASA? Acronym. Sports and games. Which 1867 rules established the modern standards for boxing and banned features like springs in boots? Marquis of Queensberry rules. Which major athletic apparel and footwear company is based in Beaverton, Oregon? Nike. Which former Baylor University basketball center and #1 WNBA draft pick is famous for having hands larger than LeBron James? Brittany Griner. How many players are on the field for one team during a standard soccer match? 11. Which American basketball player is widely known by the nickname King James? LeBron James. In golf, what term is used to describe scoring one stroke under par on a hole? Birdie. Which country has won the most FIFA World Cup titles? Brazil. How many pockets are there on a standard pool table? 6. In chess, which piece can only move diagonally? The bishop. How many strikes in a row must a bowler throw to achieve a turkey? 3. Food and drink. What is the alternative name for the Chinese gooseberry, which is widely cultivated in New Zealand and Australia? Kiwi fruit. What rhyming Spanish phrase translates to bread of the dead and features decorated faces during Oaxacan celebrations? Pan de muerto. What is the alternative, formal name of the giggling Pillsbury Dough mascot introduced in 1965? Popin, fresh. Which traditional Romanian sweet bread is served during the Easter holidays? Pasca. What is the main alcoholic ingredient used to make a traditional margarita cocktail? Tequila. From which country does the cheese variety known as Gouda originate? The Netherlands. Which fruit is the primary ingredient used to make guacamole? Avocado. What is the most widely consumed manufactured drink in the world? Tea. What specific grain is used to make traditional sake? Rice. What is the name of the traditional Japanese horseradish paste often served with sushi? Wasabi. Science and nature. Which chemical element has the symbol Mg and is used as a supplement to help with sleep and migraines? Magnesium. What camera component can be adjusted to a slow speed to allow more light in and create motion blur? Shutter. Barry, a famous 19th century rescue dog who saved over 40 lives in the Alps, belonged to which breed? Saint Bernard. What trade name did DuPont give to the innovative fluorocarbon refrigerant compound that outcompete Einstein's refrigerator design? Freon. What common, clear, and colorless crystalline mineral is frequently referred to as rock crystal? Quartz. What relative of the crow from the genus Corvus is recognized as the largest of all songbirds? Raven. What anatomical feature, commonly known as thorns, can overgrow on plants affected by rose rosette disease? Prickles. Which Australian flightless bird is unique among avian species for possessing gastrocnemius, calf, muscles? Emu. Researchers accidentally killed a 507-year-old ocean quahog, which is a long-lived species of what type of marine mollusk? Clam. What is the hardest naturally occurring substance found on Earth? Diamond. World history and culture. Which major financial panic on October 24, 1929, marked the start of the Wall Street stock market crash? Black Thursday. Which Bronze Age culture centered on the island of Crete is recognized as the first high civilization of the Aegean? Minoan civilization. In 1411, Chinese Admiral Zhang He captured the king of which island nation located directly south of India? Sri Lanka. Which royal house, originally from France, currently reigns over Spain and built Havana's La Cabana fortress under Charles III? House of Bourbon. Which Southeast Asian city was formally created in 1937 by joining the municipalities of Thonburi and Krung Thep? Bangkok. What old-timey vocal style is celebrated annually on April 11th to commemorate a 1938 gathering of 26 singers? Barbershop Quartet. What kingdom, originally formed after World War I as the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, was renamed in 1929? Yugoslavia. Around 620 BC, which Greek lawmaker introduced a legal code so harsh that its penalties were said to be written in blood? Draco. What Latin-derived term describes things that are outside the normal range of human perception and originate from beyond Earth? Extraterrestrial. Which official German Air Force was publicly announced in 1935 under the Nazi regime? Luftwaffe. Which English monarch was the father of Queen Mary I, his firstborn legitimate child? Henry VIII. George Meany, John L. Lewis, and Cesar Chavez are all prominent figures in the history of what American movement? Labor movement. After losing power in 1917, Russian leader Alexander Kerensky spent decades in exile and taught at which American university? Stanford University. Which radical political faction, led by Vladimir Lenin, overthrew the Russian provisional government in 1917? Bolsheviks. Which picturesque Austrian city on the Danube River claims to be the home of the world's oldest cake named after a city? Linz. Literature. In which 1880 Russian novel does the character Ivan Karamazov recite the parable of the Grand Inquisitor to his brother Alyosha? The Brothers Karamazov. Which classic novel features a character named Vronsky who is intensely irritated by the flat feet of Alexei Karenin? Anna Karenina. In which classic Jane Austen novel does the character Lydia Bennet marry Mr. Wickham at a church named St. Clement's? Pride and Prejudice. In which 1866 psychological novel does Rodion Raskolnikov murder the elderly pawnbroker Alyona Ivanovna in her apartment? Crime and Punishment. Which Joseph Conrad novel tells the story of a young British seaman who abandons his ship and later tries to redeem himself in Southeast Asia? Lord Jim. Mixed categories and tools. What type of weeding tool features an angled blade designed to clear unwanted plants out by the root? Cape Cod hoe. Located just 4.2 light-years from our Sun, what triple star system includes the bright star Rigel Kentaurus? Alpha Centauri. How many total vertebrae make up the human spinal column, between which stimulator electrodes can be surgically implanted? 33. What term describes heavy material thrown overboard from a vessel to improve its stability during an emergency crisis? Jetsam. Which musical instrument, whose German name translates to bell play, consists of tuned metal bars played with mallets? Glockenspiel. Which piano manufacturing company was founded in Manhattan in 1853 by a German immigrant and his sons? Steinway and Sons. Which American retail giant specializing in consumer electronics is currently led by CEO Corey Berry? Best Buy. Which iconic denim brand resurrected its classic 505 jean style in 2016, a look famously modeled by Debbie Harry? Levi's. What is the nickname of the Harry Potter character Peter Pettigrew, who could transform into a rat and betrayed Harry's parents? Wormtail. The Huning Highway connects the major metropolis of Shanghai with which strategic port city located on the Yangtze River? Nanjing.